Hi, it's Jeff here from discoverdouble.bass.com. That is the home of online video bass lessons. So if you want to learn more about the double bass, that's the place to go. And I'm joined today by the wonderful Katie Thiroux. So Katie, great to see you here. We've been filming a course all week about basically looking at getting from the practice room to the bandstand. It's called From Beginner to Bandstand for jazz bass players. And Katie has filmed some wonderful lessons and some wonderful material. We were just doing a little interview, and we had a few extra minutes before we wrap things up in the studio. And I thought the topic that everyone loves to talk about, bass players especially, is equipment. So Katie, I'm going to, if you don't mind, ask you a few questions about what gear you're using, what you'd recommend for your students. So question number one. French or German?
French.
French? Has it always been French?
I just started on French, and that's how it happened.
That's your thing, is it? Okay. What about rosin? You not bothered about it?
Not so bothered, but I do love Pop's rosin.
Yeah, old school. I like it. Strings. What kind of strings are you into?
I like Eva Perazzi, the light gauge.
Yeah.
And I do. You had that olive on the G string. I do love that as well. Yeah.
That's a cool set. I've enjoyed the bass this week, and it's had some Diodario. Helicore, the pizzicato set on there.
Yeah, they sound great on there.
It really suits it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
How about spiracles? Are you a fan? Is that a string that you've used much?
I haven't. No, I haven't.
Yeah, cool.
I'm not such a gearhead. That's the thing.
You don't get sucked into the world.
No.
When you travel, do you use your own double bass?
No, I don't. And that's what kind of helped me to not be such a gearhead. I would love to travel with my instrument, but the stress on my body of carrying the 100-pound case with me everywhere. It's just too much. So by the time I was getting to gigs, my arms were like all floppy and I was all stressed out. So I just kind of got used to playing the instrument that was there and kind of, getting into the moment and being okay with that and actually having a lot of fun with it.
And how about the double bass that you have at home? What's your instrument? Maybe you could tell us a little bit about it and how you came about it.
Yeah, so I play a 3/4 size bass, and it's on the smaller side, small shoulders and everything, nice and light.
Yeah.
And it was first my mom's bass and then my brother's bass, and someone gave it to my mom who was sick and wanted someone to have an instrument who they would use. So I was really lucky to have this bass, because before that I was playing a plywood bass, or plexiglass actually, which, is not the end of the world. As long as you have an instrument, you can figure it out. But once I got that bass, I was like so happy, and I haven't had to look for anything else, which has been nice.
And what about pickups, microphones, amplifiers? Do you have any strong views about what you use?
Personally, I don't usually use a pickup. I usually just use a microphone. I like an RE20 microphone, or even sometimes, just popping any sort of mic in front of it is nice, because for me, I don't personally like the sound of the bass through an amp. There are some nice clip-on microphones like DPA and AMT. But, again, it goes back to the sound that you like. Because for me, I'm more of an acoustic player, really pulling the strings. But, if I have to play through an amp, it's not the end of the world. But I definitely like the acoustic sound. Yeah,
that's interesting. I think I come from a similar play. Well, I think most bass players do, don't they? It's just such a wonderful sounding instrument on its own. Yeah. And so lastly, we've been filming this course for beginner jazz bass players. If you are new to the double bass, if you're speaking to someone who is new to the double bass, what would you say to them when they're looking for an instrument? What kind of things should they be bearing in mind, perhaps, when they're trying them out? What was important to you when you found your bass? That's a lot of questions as well, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's cool. Mostly having it be comfortable to you and your body. So the size, for me, I'm not going to go for a 5/8 bass or a full-size bass. So kind of having simple things like that in mind. Also, string length. You want to make sure if you're a tall person, you can have a longer fingerboard. But for me, that's going to be a little bit more difficult. And I really don't think if you're beginning out, you don't need to go search for that great best instrument. I always say if you have something with 4 strings and it's comfortable, that's going to work. There are some really great bass companies that I like that make really nice basses that are not that expensive. Shen is one of them. You can get a myriad of different basses, hybrid, wood, and fiber, and things like that. So if you have a little bit of money to spend, a few $1,000s, if you're really, really getting serious. But other than that, I just say something that's comfortable for you.
Yeah, I think that is fantastic advice, really. I mean, once you can get past the playability issues, if it's well set up,
Exactly. Yeah.
comfortable set of strings,
Yeah.
then I mean, pretty much any bass sounds good. I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
It
so
kind
to a
of,
point.
yeah, it depends on you. And I know Ray Brown used to say, you know, because we're all looking for that sound and things like that. And I know drummers and guitar players go through that forever.
Yeah.
But Ray Brown used to say it's all, you know, in your finger and you know, what you hear too. So it's kind of, you're going to bring the best out of that instrument.
Well, I think that's a great point to finish. So thanks, Katie, for joining me today. If you want to learn more from Katie, she has we've got a few lessons, we've got a course knocking around, and I'll provide links for those below. Plus, you can visit her website, katiethiroux.com. She has a jazz camp coming up in Maui.
Yeah.
Social media, all that kind of stuff. It's all there for you. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.